Welcome back, my comrades. This is Democracy 3, playing, of course, as the USSR. And everything seems to be going pretty darn well. On the whole, we're pretty happy with how things are going. We are slowly but surely reducing our debt. We've reduced it by about, what, like 150 billion or something? 150 billion over the course of the last couple of turns. The global economy is doing the best that it ever has, which is of course why our GDP is doing pretty darn well. But even if GDP, or the global economy I say, was about to crash, which I think it will probably crash kind of soon, I think that we can still be very, very happy with the progress that we've made towards eliminating our debt and accruing a large surplus. Of course, we've got to bear in mind that we've got forced labor. We can just bump it back up, and that will, in effect, absolutely massively increase our surplus. It will upset people, don't get me wrong, but it is what it is. Anyway, religious membership, which is what we're tracking quite closely, I would say, and also capitalist membership, both of which we're tracking quite closely. We're trying our very best to get rid of these groups so that we don't need to deal with security effectiveness, or we don't need to consider being assassinated anymore. But hey-ho. Over the next couple of turns, I want to reintroduce the National Palace. That is absolutely something that I want to do. But unfortunately, we don't have the political capital to do it this turn, so we're going to have to wait until the next turn before doing that. We've got 10 political capital at the moment in the bank. Could we introduce another policy? Yeah, we could. We could introduce another policy or two, but I'm not particularly interested in doing that. Civil service wage parity. Yeah, I mean, I'm keen on introducing this. That would be kind of fun. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's introduce the civil service wage parity. Also, technology grants. I also want to do this. Purely because it helps technology. Let's do this. I want to do this right now. Helps technology and GDP. Reduces unemployment. Yeah, this is great. This is exactly what we want. Capitalists do like it, but socialists don't dislike it, which is why I'm okay doing it. People smuggling, allow them to stay, deport them. I'm going to allow them to stay in the hope that liberals like that. Let's go to the next turn, hoping that we don't get assassinated. Liberal plot. I mean, that's fine. That's okay. Organized crime is now ended. That is beautiful. That's really, really good. Environmentalists, not a big fan of us, but that's okay. Our expenditure is creeping up as we introduce ever more expensive policies. Global economy is doing very, 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 very well at the moment. And our debt is continuing to fall at a fairly rapid rate. Our interest rate can get one better than it currently is. If we have a little look here. Yeah, our credit rating is currently AA. It could jump to AAA. Wow, debt interest is all the way down here now. 2.31 billion. So just remember that at one time, we were actually spending over 12 billion on debt interest repayments. So pretty substantial, that reduction right there. Uncompetitive economy. Well, we've just introduced technology grants. So hopefully that is going to see a real increase to productivity. I want to start introducing more policies like that in the future. Teacher shortage is actually going down. That's kind of shocking. That is kind of shocking. University grants actually exacerbate the existing teacher shortage. That's somewhat surprising. Very surprised at why that is the case. I would also like to bump my spending in the state schools. Unemployment, further reduction, poverty reduction, education. Yeah, this is really, really good. The problem is that we can't really pay for this at the moment. We do have a 16 billion surplus. Oh, what is education? This one? That is education, but I wanted to click on public schools. State schools even. Yeah, so currently we don't have enough money to cover... Well, we do technically have enough money to cover the state schools, but the problem is that we got to bear in mind all of the other crazy policies that we want to introduce. 44 political capital. What would 44 political capital be able to get us? None of these things, which is what I'm really keen for. You know what? Let's bump let's bump spending in the National Palace for now. Because if that saves us, it will absolutely be worth it. So that'll be adjusted next turn. Encryption law, I'm going to change. Yeah. I want to do this. Here's my quandary, right? I want to make this change. I want to make the change all the way down to a state monopoly on encryption. It's going to upset the liberals. It's going to have a couple of effects. Technology effect being the most annoying one. Internet currency adoption, whatever, right? Like that's annoying to deal with. However, I also kind of want to bump it just because of the fact that I don't know how it'll rate on the graph here. So currently it says 50% enacted. I mean, how do we enact it more? Do we go up or down? One would assume that we go down, so it's a state-controlled system. But at the same time, usually that indicates that you've not filled it right to the top. So real questions really need to be asked there. Foreign subversion, wiretapping is going to kill foreign subversion off fairly shortly, I think. Man, this is just completely garbage. I want to bump spending in foreign aid, actually. That is something that I do want to do. It is pretty much free. I say pretty much free. It's going to cost us 5 billion. That will pretty much be free. So that's what we need to consider. I also want to... Where is it? That's private schools. State schools. That is state schools, okay. Yeah, next turn I want to try and bump... I want to bump state schools. I want to bump state schools up because education is really, really important. The higher the education, the better. Unfortunately, that leads to more liberals coming on board and existing in our country. Although membership of liberals is kind of... I mean, probably going to increase, actually. Probably going to increase. That's fine. Anyway, security effectiveness is what we're really aiming for at the moment. We're trying to survive, hopefully. Failed assassination attempt. It's annoying. It's really, really annoying. Unemployment continuing to fall thanks to the introduction of the National Palace. Of course. The Freedom League. That's a bit of a bummer. That is a real kick in the teeth, really. Yeah, the Freedom League is continuing to see membership rise. What do they really not like? They really don't like wiretapping, do they? Or police drones. Or any of the stuff that I've done to create a police state. Shocking, really, isn't it? Shocking. Well, what we can do is we can bump foreign aid spending this turn. That is something that we can definitely do. It's not going to cost us much political capital to do at all. And it will make the liberals like us considerably more than they do at the moment. Patriots, on the other hand, they're not going to be a fan of. Foreign investor tax breaks. How on earth has this been allowed to continue? Immediately get rid of that. I feel that I would not be a true socialist if that was not the case. Limiting automated trading. This is always just like a... This is always just such a silly policy in my mind. I don't feel like it's very interesting. Because I always just get rid of it, right? Because there's nothing to be gained. There is nothing to be gained here by a total ban on automated trading. Like, it boosts self-employed people's happiness with you by 9%. That's it. That's it. It's super, super lame. Anyway, state education, or state schools, which I actually managed to click on for the first time ever, I think. I want to save up enough political capital to make a difference there, so I'm not going to do any more stuff this turn. Still an egalitarian society, still a non-competitive economy, still polluting, still have a teacher shortage, but we're going to kill off the teacher shortage pretty darn soon. Still have an asthma epidemic, still unbelievably corrupt and only going to increase corrupt-wise. Jury trial. Yeah, you know, we could do that. That would make liberals more happy with us. And civil rights. I'm surprised this hasn't ended already, to be honest. But the problem is the liberals. The liberals really, 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 really don't like civil rights. Or they like civil rights and they just go on protests and whatnot. I suspect that that might be the case for quite a long time to come. Violent crime is non-existent, which is kind of nice. Supposedly violent crime feeds into civil rights protests? I don't quite understand how that is the case. Oh, there's a modifier that... Okay, with you. Okay, well, that is what it is. Let's go to the next turn, saving our political capital, hoping once again that we don't get assassinated, because there's so many plots against us, really. There is so many plots against us. Whistleblower, reform the Secret Service. Sure, let's reform the Secret Service. I feel like the Liberals would actually like that. We are still at a surplus, which means our debt is continuing to fall, which is great news. We're still only a AA rating, which is a little bit of a worry because I want to get up to the AAA rating pretty darn soon to pay the lowest rates of interest. But uncompetitive economy is hopefully going to start to trend downwards now, which is really, really nice. Maximum political capital is still 44. Man, you are great. You are really, really good. Same with tax. You're not super loyal at the moment. I think that we want to try and please the farmers and the environmentalists. It's a difficult mix of people to please. Skilled immigration incentives. That would be kind of good. Water trading program. All right. Interesting. Drone Strike Act. No one's exactly crying out for drone strikes at the moment. Limited employment is the reality in the current economic system. I feel like this would be a very, very good idea. Unfortunately, I don't think that we can do it right now. Compulsory work for the unemployed. Well, we've already got forced labor, which I feel is probably good enough, really. Ban Sunday shopping. 36 political capital, and that seems like a big no. Mandatory microgeneration. This seems like a fun thing to do. Would cost 34 political capital. Money supply. Also an idea. Banking safe haven. No, I think not really. Nationalize manufacturing and nationalize the banking system. Oh boy, I cannot wait to do this. Unfortunately, we can't do it at the moment. It's a big bummer, really. Because I'd very much like to. Yeah, none of this stuff really matters at all. None of this stuff really takes my fancy at all either. I want to get something... Oh, hydropower is a way to say it. Something which will make the environmentalists like me. Workers' Pride Campaign. A large public awareness and advertising campaign to promote working towards a common goal. Oh, yes. Public service broadcasting as well. State tertiary education. There's a whole bunch of really, really good stuff here. Keep the country tidy. Let's keep the country tidy. The environment and the environmentalists are both going to like that policy a lot, and it only cost us, well, I mean, it cost us almost nothing. I think that we should start radically reforming our transport system. Clean fuel subsidy. I think that this would be a very, very good idea to try and, yeah, as I say, if we try and reform our whole transport system, then that would be great. Yeah, electric cars initiative, let's do that. Motorists are going to like it, which is quite nice. The environment, environmentalists don't love it, but that is what it is. I'm conscious of the fact that I'm keeping 18 political capital back just to bump up state schools, just on the off chance. However, I'm also looking for, you know, a couple of policies that will really make a little difference to our environment. Bicycle lanes, cycling campaign. Sure, a cycling campaign. It's pretty good. What else? Bicycle subsidies. Yep, let's absolutely do that. Let's bump up bicycle subsidies. It's all good for the environment. All good stuff. Carpooling campaign. Sure, let's introduce that. Car usage down. Not like it really matters. I don't think it really matters at all. And then, of course, let's bump up this, which will end the teacher shortage in a couple of turns. Yeah, okay, good. Fine. It will reduce unemployment. It will reduce poverty. I don't think poverty is actually particularly low at the moment. Sorry, I meant to say I don't think poverty is particularly high at the moment. But yeah, that's pretty good. Also, unemployment. We're going to see unemployment basically go to zero. And we're also going to see poverty basically go to zero. We are going to destroy our budget surplus through, you know, a whole bunch of little policies, but also through big policies like state education spending. Please don't be assassination. That's fine. Surveillance scandal, technology down. That's annoying. Liberalism up, and foreign relations also down. That's fine. Unemployment is down. Health is up. That's very, very good. Poverty is down. GDP is tentatively up. Tentatively on the way up. A small budget surplus. Now, how's the global economy doing? The global economy is doing very, very well. Very, very well at the moment, which means that we need to brace for impact. We need to brace for the fact that the global economy is not going to be doing very well for much longer. And we need to try and maybe either cut back our spending slightly or not. Government subsidies for unions. Yeah, I feel like that's just a really, really good idea. The Freedom League. Freedom League really, really don't like me. I really wish that being a socialist and being a liberal were mutually exclusive. Overwhelmingly supportive. But the problem is I take a focus group of them, right? Turns out most of them are going to be liberal, I imagine. You've got low approval of me. But basically, if everyone in my country is a socialist, which is not necessarily the case. Membership is high, but not there yet. If everyone is basically a socialist, then everyone should love me, because socialists absolutely love me. But yet, that is not the case. Alright, let's introduce a completely crazy policy right now. What about that one which... the national anthem at the start of the news? Not really. Civil service wage parity, that is one thing. Public broadcasting. Workers' pride campaign. This is what I want to introduce. Liberals are going to probably dislike this, but hey-ho. Oh no, it's capitalists that dislike it. Wow, holy cow. This is really, really good, actually. This is a really, really good policy. Productivity is going to increase. It is going to destroy our surplus. But here's the rationale for introducing that policy, right? If that policy, wherever it is, I don't even know where it went. Where was it? Public services? Yeah, this one. Yeah, so if it leads to a huge increase in productivity, which it kind of will, then that will lead to an increase in GDP, which makes it worth it. We're still looking to grow our productivity, actually. But we're kind of close, but not there quite yet. Yeah, we're not there quite yet. The asthma epidemic is still a bit of a kick in the teeth, and so is the unemployment rate. But hey-ho. Health is going up at a relatively tremendous rate, actually. We can be pretty happy with that. Fuel efficiency standards and the driving age. Well, let's get fuel efficiency standards, because fuel efficiency standards seems like a very, very good thing to do. CO2 emissions reduced, oil demand reduced, environmentalists reduced as well. That's great. Great. Fuel efficiency standards fully in place. And there are 0 other policies that we can introduce. Homosexuality law. If I was to introduce the homosexuality law, right? Discrimination outlawed. Alternatively, liberals not liking us. The problem is that I don't want to upset the liberals or religious people. I do, however, want to get rid of... sexism. You know what? I think, actually, the fact that, okay, here's my rationale for this. I know this might be a little bit premature, but religious membership is very, very low at the moment. It's very low. It's going to continue to get lower. We're about 15 turns away, I think, from just getting rid of all religious people in the country. However, we could be able to get rid of sexism, and we can make liberals happy with us. Unfortunately, it has the side effect of increasing their numbers, which is a little bit of an annoyance. Well, let's go for that. Let's go for that. I think that is... It's fine. It is what it is. Unfortunately, we can't actually change any of this nonsense, so it doesn't actually matter. But still. Yeah, I'm looking for tourism. Tourism, yeah. So tourism should actually increase as well, which will lead to an increase in GDP, which is quite nice. It'll also lead to an increase in foreign subversion, but that's going to end with our wiretapping. So as long as we can realistically, placate the liberals, we actually will be totally fine. But the problem is, I don't think that we are going to be able to placate the liberals, so we'll have to see in the next episode if we're actually successful in surviving. Ladies and gents, thank you very, very much for watching. My name, of course, has been Orbital Potato. This has been Democracy 3, playing, of course, as the Soviet Union. I'll see you next time. Bye.